Happy Memorial Day, guys. While you're out there all enjoying your boats or enjoying not working on boats, I decided to, just like last year, work my Memorial Day. It's what a veteran does who doesn't want to sit on the couch.
Welcome back. And yes, Terry, I know, she's still back there. I'll get to it. Leave me alone. Sometimes everybody has their demons. That one's mine. Anyway, today I want to talk about something kind of interesting. You might like it, you might not. Don't care. So here's a boat that we did last year, and it's got a little bit of a shine to it. We used, I think, Pro Polish by Surehold or Flagship. I'm not entirely sure. And it's dusty. I mean, if I go like this, you can look at my hand. It's pretty dusty, but there's also a little dullness up in the forward area. The hull looks really good still. Thank you. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was usually when you see a boat that has a shine like this and you're like, oh, well, I just put some wax on there, some cleaner wax. Yeah, you could. But for the most part, you're just kind of hiding what's already there. And yeah, the cleaner wax has the ability to take off a little bit of oxidation, but not all of it. So today, I'm just going to hit it with a little Perfect-It and a foam pad. And to give you an idea of what that's going to look like, I'll just do maybe half of this nose on the bow, and you can see the difference. Now it's raining a little bit, so this is going to take a little extra time just wiping everything off. But when I'm done, I think you'll understand that if you've got the time, and it doesn't take all that much. In fact, I might actually set up the camera if I can avoid some of the wind noise. Or you know what, I'll just mute it at that point, and you can just watch it. You can see how long this takes, and it really doesn't take all that long, and the finish you get is substantially better than any cleaner wax you could get. And yeah, it takes a little bit longer, because after that you got to wash it and put a wax on it. Whereas the cleaner wax is kind of an all-in-one. It does everything all at once. All right, I got my Monster, I got my Perfect-It, got my foam pad.
And just like every other boat, I'm going to spread this out, and as soon as it's all generally spread out, I'm going to start on my edges. There's a couple different edges here. You've definitely got the one above the gunnel / rub rail, and there's another step up above that, a little 90-degreer. There's one above that, and then there's a couple snaps, and then there's the opening to the hatch, and then there's the little navigation light in the front. These are all going to be things that I attack first, and then I'll start focusing on that middle area. That's how it always goes, guys. And if you do this, you avoid a whole bunch of things that if you hit the middles first and then work on your edges, you kind of ruin all that stuff you did in the middle, and you have to blend it all together, and it takes a little extra time. So I just do it as efficiently as I can. Again, I've been doing this for 17 years. I don't like to waste a lot of time doing what I do, and I like to get to the finish that I want as fast as possible. So that's why you're seeing me do the things that I do, and why you're seeing me do the things that I do. Perhaps your next question is, Lee, why did you use a foam pad instead of wool? The answer is a couple prongs on this. One, there's a bunch of little snaps, and on cobalts you can't take them off. So to get around them, like I'm doing there, you kind of need the perfection and the precision of a foam pad to really dial those in. I can do it with a wool pad. It just takes a little bit longer, and it's not as clean. The finish is never as sharp as it is when I use a foam pad around those snaps. And it's my OCD. I want to get everything looking like a buffer. Never touched this boat. It just popped out of the mold, and there you are. There's a boat. With a wool pad, sometimes you end up putting extra scratches in around those snaps, and it's kind of difficult to feather those out and flatten them out. Also, I figured the shine on this that already existed didn't necessarily need me to break out the shotgun version of a compound pad. Instead, what it needed was a stiletto. And that's exactly what a foam pad is. Although it can take out oxidation, it's not made to take out a ton of oxidation. It's just meant to take out a little bit. So in lieu of using a cleaner wax, this is my version of a cleaner compound. It's kind of a light version of compounding, just enough to get that surface oxidation off, and it'll leave a nice smooth finish. That's why I use it. All right, hopefully you guys don't need me to explain that anymore, but I know you will. Later on down the road, someone's gonna ask. It's okay, it's why I'm here. If you have a question though, throw it in the comment section. I know it's easy to find my email, it's easy to find my phone number, text me, call me, stuff like that. But if you do, nobody else on the channel gets to understand, appreciate, and learn from your question, nor my answer. So if you have a question, please, unless it's an emergency, feel free to leave it in the comment section. That way when I give an answer, other people have the chance to benefit from it as well. Something tells me that a lot of you right now are thinking I should fast forward and get to the part where he shows it. So how about I do that instead of you? That way you don't miss anything. All right, give me a second. This is also a great way for you not to hear my horrible singing. Okay, you should be happy. I've got this going at about 5 times normal speed, so I'll save you enough time that you can enjoy a good dinner or a phone call with an old friend. Things are the same. Hit your edges first, work on your flats. So that's exactly what I do. Here I am hitting that gunnel edge and then that little bump up right above it. And then I'm probably going to work on my snaps because that seems like something I would do. Yep, I'm working on my snaps. It's weird how I knew that was going to happen. And that other edge underneath that, and then I'll work on the next snap, and then maybe, well, it looks like I'm working on the middle down there. Okay, there we go. Snap, and then that edge, and then that edge, and then all it is just little pieces, and you're trying to make something shine that's small and grow it into a shine that's bigger. At least that's what I think of when I'm doing this, and generally it seems to work out fairly well. I run out of things to talk about, honestly. There was a guy in the back there. He was picking up his boat. Didn't seem to say hi to me or anything. I think we waxed it. I assume he's happy with it. But even if he's not, he just chose not to say anything. A lot of people think detailers are the peasants of the marine industry. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't mind being the little guy in the totem pole. As long as I don't have to deal with people all the time, I'm actually really happy doing what I do. I should also apologize. It looks like the wind pushed my camera a little bit more left than the area I was working, so I just deleted a couple seconds out of that until I actually got up there. You're also missing out on Rapper's Delight, which one hell of a song, and I think it was the long version because they got all the way past, where you're sitting at the table and eating the food that's no good. It's the full 15 minutes, guys. What an awesome song. Now, even in this crappy monodirectional light, you can see a fairly stark difference from one side to the other, which is interesting because before we looked at it, it was like, oh, it's got a nice shine to it. I assure you, this shine, much better. And to give you some indication, that's the sunlight I'm working with. So if you're not seeing a glorious shine on the surface, well, either am I. But I've been doing this long enough to know it's all right. It's good enough for the girls I date. Now I'm just applying this directly onto the boat. I'll grab a clean microfiber rag and I'll go ahead and start trying to clean off the compounds and the oils and stuff that I left behind. When you get around the snaps, pay extra attention to the snaps. Don't leave a bunch of compound residue around them. If you're trying to make the wax or polish or whatever you want to call it, sealant, who cares, stick to the boat. Especially around those snaps, you definitely want it clean right around them. So try to get everything. Spend a little extra time. Move your fingers in weird places and try to get all the stuff that you left on the surface off of the surface. And usually you can tell, you can see it, but you can also flip the microfiber pad over to the soft side. And as you glide your hand across the boat, you can feel if it sticks or it feels like it's a little bit tacky, it's probably a place you haven't cleaned off yet. So that's my last test, and you'll see me do that probably right about meow. Maybe not. Anyway, give it a wipe down, clean it off. That way your product that you put on there to protect it will stick and stay longer and has an easier chance to bond to the gel coat. And that's really the goal of all of this, is to give the product that you're putting on there a chance to lock itself onto the gel coat to protect it from UV rays, oxygen, and birds, bugs, and people who don't respect your boat. I went ahead and grabbed my dual action polisher. It's a Porter cable. Don't know what the number is. You can look it up on Google. This is a mix that I made up specific for this boat based on what I was seeing in the Gelcoat. Don't ask me what it is. It doesn't matter because it's only for this boat. I'm going to do basically what I've always done. Put a little bit on the pad, spread it out, and then just work it into this Gelcoat. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Hope you don't mind. If you're wondering why I seem as if I'm going over things again, places that I've already applied wax, my thought process is I'm trying to force this product into the pores of the Gelcoat. So while I've applied it on all of the Gelcoat, it's important with DA to keep going. It's one of the reasons and benefits that you have a dual action polisher is specifically to help you rub this into the Gelcoat. And it's really easy to use a foam pad to get around those snaps, just like it was with the compounding pad. And now I'm using just a clean, soft, I think this pad's made by Epic, but I also like the ones by Surehold as long as they're black and soft. The port side had some interesting artifacts in it, and I noticed them right off the bat. It looks like somebody sprayed something on there and it sat there and kind of etched itself into the surface. There's a little bit right there and there's a little bit down here. So instead of using a foam pad, which I know probably would have a hard time getting that out, I went ahead, you can call it cheating if you want, I grabbed a wool pad. And I'm just going to basically break down the rough, hard stuff, or at least I'm going to try. What you'll see is that I completely failed, but it's good that you see that everybody, including a detailer who's been doing this for 17 years, sometimes runs into a boat that just says, no, I don't wanna. Okay, well, I've heard that before. And now for some movie magic. Boom! Oh, where'd that tape come from? All right, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. You saw how I did the other side. It's basically just the same thing, only with a foam pad being the secondary stage. The first step's going to be done with a wool pad. So I'll speed this up so you guys don't have to sit through all my BS and blah, 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 blah. And here comes the foam pad. I've spurted it out, it's nice and clean, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the, perfect it right on the surface. Do the exact same things I did to the starboard side. You already saw that, so if you want, I could possibly delete a whole bunch of this so that it's not a 40-minute long video. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, no, I won't. This is only 20 minutes now because I'm fast forwarding, so I don't feel so bad about your time. You should feel bad about my time. Just kidding. We should feel bad about each other's time. All right, I don't want to make this too easy on you. You should actually get a sense of how long this takes and how fast I go and what rhythms I use. It does help, by the way, to have a little bit of music playing in the background. Without any sort of excuses, I admit that I'm not a great videographer. There are times when the camera is aimed at what I want to see and show, but then there's times when it's not, and I apologize. This is one of those instances. There's half of this you're not going to be able to see because I'm out of frame, and I apologize, but it's the same as it was on the other side. Edges first, then hit your middles, flatten out, smooth it all out, blend it all together. And while I'm doing this, I'm just looking for basic things in the reflection. If I can see color on a day like today, that's pretty good. If I can see detail in my face, also pretty good indicator that I'm doing a decent job, even though I've got flat lighting. Worst case scenario, I can whip out a flashlight, check it up close and personal. I didn't, but I could have. You should, definitely. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, now for the cleaning, and this is kind of the part that surprised me a little bit. As I'm wiping all this down, I'm starting to see stuff right about here. You can see me kind of like, huh. And then I see it again a little bit further up. All it tells me is I've got to go a little bit harder with some Perfect It and a wool pad. And that's exactly what I do. It's one of the reasons that I wash off the compound so that I can inspect it. And there you can see those little dots and stuff here. I'll slow, so that you can see them too. All right, I've got my wool pad. I've got the compound right where I need it to go. I'm just going to get kind of crazy and aggressive with it. A lot of cross cutting. I'm going to push a little bit harder than I was before. I'm really kind of grumpy at the boat for being grumpy at me. I don't know why she didn't want to just shine up like all the other boats do. What's the matter? You too good for your shine? It's your shine. Go to your shine, boat. Sorry, Happy Gilmore reference. So after this, the very next thing to do is clean it up with the foam pad again. And that's exactly what I plan to do. In fact, it's what I did. You don't need to see all this. I'm going to fast forward it again. And as long as I don't see what I saw before, I'm like, all right, cool. Thank you, boat. I appreciate your cooperation. Next thing is a little bit of wax. Well, I guess that's not really fair. I should show you the results of the extra work that I did, but now you don't see those little spray speckles in the gel coat. And that's what I was going for. I don't know what that was. Maybe they put a chemical or something on there. Maybe they used the wrong spray. Bleach sometimes can etch itself into gel coat if it's not washed off right away and it gets a chance to dry. I have no idea what that was. All I know is that it was there after I wiped it down, and I thought, no, you should not be there. So I tackled it the best way I knew how. The best way I knew how was a little bit more compound, a wool pad, followed by a little bit more compound, and a foam pad. And that seemed to take it all out, and I was happy with the results. You can probably guess what's next. It's going to be a soft foam pad, a DA, a little bit of time with some polish. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Nice job. Aren't you guys bored of this yet? Let's go ahead and crank up the speed, yo! Now for a nice, soft, clean foam pad, I'll be taking the wax off, just like I did the other side. There should be no real work in this. All you're trying to do is allow that pad to just touch everything that you waxed and pull off the wax, leaving behind a nice, smooth, even, swirl-free finish. Fingers crossed. That's it, guys. In lieu of doing a cleaner wax to get kind of a half-hour polish, go ahead and go the hard way. Trust me, you'll like it.